The best fried chicken in Texas. Rody's Country Fried Chicken. Texas born, Texas raised. A chicken joint with 35 years of service to our community. Thanks to our loyal customers and social media followers. Come try the best gizzards in Texas, the best tenders in Texas, and the best chicken in Texas. Call us at 830-773-9189. 830-773-9189. Don't forget, we have curbside service and delivery by DoorDash. Or find us on Facebook, Rody's Chicken. RODEES Chicken. Like us on Facebook.
The best fried chicken in Texas.
Rody's Country Fried Chicken.
That metal interview.
Okay, so we're back. Thank you for joining us again. That metal interview podcast. This episode we have guitar great Craig Locicero, formerly of Forbidden. Forbidden is a band from the Bay Area. It's a thrash band, as you guys might remember, and Craig is a part of that and was a part of that. So now his project is Dress the Dead, a band with some great music, and we have Kayla on the vocals, and great vocalist for Dress the Dead. You guys should check it out, man. Their brand new single, which is out today, Red Handed. It comes out June 1st today, and you guys can stream it, check it out. And what these guys are doing, they're releasing, as Craig told us, they are releasing one single or one song per month since the beginning of 2021. And Knives Out was the first release in January. February, the song came out 1969. That's the name of the song. Circus Fleece in March. There Goes the Sun in April. Last month, May, we saw Promises and Kisses. And this beginning of June, now we see Red Handed. So how about let's check out Red Handed right here. Brand spanking new world premiere stuff right here on That Metal Interview podcast, as we welcome Mr. Craig Locicero. Red Handed. And so there you had, and you heard Red Handed, world premiere stuff from Dress the Dead, the latest and the newest project by guitar great Craig Locicero, formerly of Forbidden. For all you thrash fanatics that remember Forbidden, I grew up with Forbidden Evil, man, Through the Eyes of Glass, Chalice of Blood, those kind of jams. Awesome cassette at that time. It's just a legendary classic, man, right there. Classic Bay Area thrash, Forbidden. And this guy is a member of Forbidden or was a member of Forbidden. He'll talk to us about the status of Forbidden, whether it's active or past. So it's for you guys to check it out. And here it is, our interview with Craig Locicero, Dress the Dead, Forbidden. Enjoy, guys. Dress the Dead. I heard the new single today, Promises and Kisses. Awesome jam, man. Awesome. Heard it earlier. Real cool stuff, man. So can you talk to us about this single?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that we recorded that particular song about 3 years ago, and originally it was Peter Dalbing from The Haunted was our singer.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with The Haunted, and I was a real big fan of his, he was a big fan of the stuff I did in Forbidden, and it just seemed like it was the ideal match, except for, he was located in Denmark, and we were located here in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And but we made it happen. He actually came out, and when we had demoed stuff, and he was working on it, then he came out, and we recorded, and Rob Flynn from Machine Head did that first demo with us. He was produced it with me, and it was like, when he sang that song originally, I mean, you got to imagine that Peter Dalbing sang that originally, and it had this intense emotional, outpouring from the pain of the things he had gone through in his life, and it was like, holy shit, we're like,
yeah,
we knew we were onto something special with him, but yet that was ultimately the undoing of why he couldn't continue doing it. He went home, and then he had to deal with life, and he's like, I can't do music anymore because I can't really travel like I want to. I can't play live like I want to. I got injuries. He's got personal stuff going on with his family. It's just stuff it was stuff. So you got to imagine that, and this all matters for that song, because you got to imagine, as the band, you're like, who could possibly ever relate to these words and sing it like this?
Yeah.
And you think it's going to be a guy. You think it's just going to be a guy. You're like looking around like, but no, there's no guy. There's nobody. Spent almost 9 months looking for a singer, and then you randomly get a text, and it's from Kayla Dixon, who I'd seen play almost a year to the day before that. Like almost exactly. Actually, 2 days later was a year to that day from the day she texted me. I saw her play with her band Witch Mountain.
Okay.
In Oakland, opened up for Saint Vitus and the Skull, and I remember thinking, just watching her, going, that girl's incredible. She's gonna be a star. Not remotely thinking that we were going to be in a band together.
Wow.
It just was the last thing on my mind. I thought we had Peter. Fast forward. She goes in, she re-sings it, and then it takes on a whole new meaning and depth because of her interpretation and being a girl and going through what she's gone through. So there you go. It was like it was meant to be. And the same thing happened with our song 1969 too. She sang that. That was originally Peter's idea, but she came from a point of view of a woman, being a black woman in America, and it seemed to just other people listen to her version of the song and they could just relate to it better, And I love Peter's version of both, but I can understand when people were like, well, that makes more sense. And it just worked. I can't even tell you that. So that's a long answer for that song, but we originally did it then, and then we re-recorded it with her singing, and then we got our new guitar player. We recorded it with Mikey Rowan on it, and then remixed it, and we decided we were going to put it out. So we got all of our old music out. Everything we've recorded up to date is officially out as of now, today.
Okay.
And everything moving forward is all new. So, there's some new stuff and some old stuff that we've released already, because there's 5 songs that are out there.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you guys are releasing, I guess, one, give or take, about one song a month or something like that?
Yep, one per month. It was our stipulation for going with Blood Blast, which is a part of Nuclear Blast's digital output,
Yeah.
And we said we wanted to do something with them as long as we could release one song per month, because we felt like we wanted to build ourselves up. over that time and kind of build our presence up. And so far, it's actually really, really worked. We've been steadily growing. You know, in a time of the COVID times where there's really nothing going on, we can't play a whole bunch. You know,
Yeah.
we've been writing and recording. We just finished recording a bunch of stuff just last week. That's our whole new band. We just recorded 8 more songs
Nice.
last week. So that'll be part of the end of the 8 songs, 1 per month that we have. But the whole idea was to do the 8 January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and then we're done in August, and then we go to Europe and we play the Dynamo Festival. Is going to be our first gig in Europe, and that has been verified. It will happen because the Netherlands, they've been stringently making sure everyone's getting vaccinated. So they've opened up a festival for the government the week before. So because they've opened up that festival the week before, the government gave Dynamo the permission to have their festival. So we just all got to be vaccinated, and then we got.
Nice. There you go. So back to the CD, the album question. My question was, can fans expect a full-length album this year? Or
Well, I mean, the ironic thing is that's what we're really doing, right? We're making a full length.
yeah,
You know, these 8 songs become a full length when we're done.
Uh-huh.
Now, some people go, "Oh, I want a full length all at once," but James, is like you're living in a time where people don't really have much of an attention span.
right?
The
Yeah.
majority of the people really only pay attention at the end of the process. So when we do it this way, we're getting a little attention each month from these new people, and then it grows, and then we can put all the songs out at once. But then all these other people have had it.
Yeah.
But we intend on jumping right back in the studio when all this is done. We're done with Dynamo. We're going to jump right back in, and we're going to finish a bunch of the songs that we recorded, and probably 2 or 3 more on drums, and start the whole full-length record. Because the whole idea is to get a real record deal that makes sense for us, that doesn't treat us poorly. Because I mean, you don't get great rates from a lot of labels. You take money, and then they take more money. And then this deal, we get the majority of every dollar that's generated goes to us.
Got it.
And we just have to be on top of our own artwork. We have to be on top of our own promotion. So ultimately, that's a lot of work. So you want to be on a label that kind of works with you, but you get a better rate. And now we're kind of gaining our negotiating power to do so.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
I understand. So who came up with the name, and what's behind the name Dress the Dead? What's behind that name?
Well, there's another great story. I started this band, when I was in another band called Spiral Alarms in between the Forbidden stuff I was doing, obviously. And Spiral Alarms was going after I ended another band called Man Made God, we were on American, and we did a record with Rick Rubin. And so I did that. I jumped from there to Spiral Alarms, and then got the first offers to do Forbidden stuff. And I was doing that for a while. And then I'm telling you your story, but I got to tell you how I got there.
That's cool.
And then, so we did Forbidden stuff until it became obvious that, it wasn't going to work anymore to tour because the guys had to go back to work and blah, blah, blah. So it was one of those, 4-year runs. And then we kind of went back into Spiral Arms, and that was destined to not work out either because we'd done it for too long and didn't really get any dividends. So when the band broke up, I was like, when the band broke up, I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Am I going to start a new band? Am I going to finally join another band? I get offers all the time. Like, am I going to finally be a hired gun in somebody else's band? And I said, nah, I'm not ready to do that. I want to write my own music. I want to do my own thing. And I didn't have a name, man. I literally did not have a name. And in the middle, I'm not even joking, and probably about 4 or 5 in the morning, it came to me. The name Dress the Dead just popped in my head while I was sleeping. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not making this up.
Wow.
And I was like, I literally sat up and I said, oh my God, 3 words that have probably never been put together. it's like, oh
right.
shit. Finally, with someone, and I nudged my wife, well, I got it. She's all, what? I'm like, I got the name. Dress the Dead. She's all, oh, that's good. Okay. And but then, the next morning, she's all, that is pretty good. I'm like, I know it is. And then it's ambiguous. And I love ambiguous names.
Yeah.
I
cool
love
name.
names that don't necessarily have to mean something,
Yeah.
I mean, but I do get pictures. In my head when I think of it. And of course, you could be very literal, or you could be a lot more, as I said, ambiguous.
Yeah, it's a cool name. I like it. It's cool. I have this is a strange story. I have a friend that works at a funeral home, And
Yeah, that's where you see dress today.
right, yeah. So I
You
guess
hear that a lot.
he might have heard those 3 words before. Anyways, so cool name. I
Yeah,
like the name.
yeah, they
So
have to.
yeah. So I saw a video you guys posted. The crappy comments video. uh,
Oh,
the keyboard warriors. Man, there's some people that are just mean. There's some bad comments out there. That's pretty cool, man. You
that's
guys,
all. Well, thank you. No, that was my James, our bass player's idea. And
Okay.
he's like, let's just run with this, because I know that they've done it on Jimmy Kimmel. I think they had stuff like that, bad tweets or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, we should probably take some of these hilarious comments and he didn't tell us what anything was going to be or which ones he was going to take. Because I don't even care. I'm literally immune to it, James.
Yeah.
I've been down that so much already. I'm like, I don't care what anyone says. But it was such a fun experience because we just got handed the comments and just said our thing and said our piece. But you know what's funny about that is since that actually happened, we've had almost no negative comments. Like there are so few
Awesome.
negative comments that it's well, I don't know. It's kind of scary to me. Like bring them on, I like balance. I like balance, and you should have people that hate your band. Like that's part of the thing, man. If everyone likes you, I don't think we're that safe.
Yeah, that's normal.
And I think maybe since we kind of might have diffused that bomb,
Right? Yeah, there's always haters out there, anywhere, everywhere. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the words you guys used. The keyboard warriors. It sounds like a band.
There's a lot of them out there, and we're dealing with that today. There's tons of keyboard warriors out there jumping all over Dave Ellefson right now.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's so easy. Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, poor Dave.
But he fucked up.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
Yeah, I guess poor guy. Anyways, so I noticed you played with Chuck and Death back in '93. If that's true, that's awesome. That's badass. And how'd you get that gig, man? That's pretty cool.
Well, evidently, I interviewed Gene because I've only done one podcast so far, but I interviewed Gene, who's like one of my best friends in the world, and he was telling me that they had their eyes on me to be the replacement for Ralph far before I even knew they did.
Okay.
He said that they were at a show and I was standing on the side of the stage. And Gene's, that's your spot. He's like pointing the stick at the thing. I was like, I didn't understand what you were saying, bro. I was just standing there. It's like I didn't know. But yeah, they asked me, and it came about because Steve DiGiorgio had called me.
Okay.
This is back in the days of real telephones, like people
right.
at home calling me.
Right. Yeah.
No internet, and he's like, hey, dude, what's up? I'm like, Steve, I never talked to you on the phone. He said, what's going on? I said, well, I'm calling on behalf of Chuck Shoulder. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, he wants you to step in on the next tour. I'm like, oh, dude, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds amazing, but I don't have time to learn the songs. I don't have time. I'm doing stuff for Finn. We just finished our new demo. We're supposed to go to record. And he's all, well, and I go, plus I can't go to Florida, dude. I can't take the time to go to Florida to rehearse. He's all, well, let me get back to you. And they call back the next day. He's like, well, I talked to Chuck, and he decided he wants to come to Oakland.
Really?
Like,
wow.
What? He's like, he's going to come to Oakland to rehearse. I'm like, shit. I'm like, so I guess there's no saying no. He's like, no, you'd be an ass. He's like, you'd be kind of a dick if you did. I'm like, okay. So I agreed to do it, but I still didn't have time to learn any of the material.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was, literally recording our demo up to the day before they arrived. So we got our shit done, and I was really, really nervous. And I was with my wife even back then. We weren't together as a married couple, but she was my girlfriend.
Okay.
And
cool.
I was having like an anxiety attack, and I called her. I'm like, I gotta go. It's like I don't even know the music, and I'm just gonna go in there. I'm gonna just shit the bed. She basically is like, toughen up, Buttercup. Just go in there and get it done. And she was right. And I walked in there, and I was like, all right, well, I don't know anything. And Chuck just like, bro, just sit down, and I'll show you the riffs, and we'll drink some coffee, and smoke some weed, and just like that was basically how it went. And
wow.
He showed me a riff. He said, play that 4 times. He would show me a riff and say, play it 4 times. And that's how it worked. So like every time it was a result, here's that one. Luckily, I'm a quick learner. And I also the material was actually much easier to play than the forbidden stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. So I just kind of got the hang of it. And that was how it all got built. And over 2 days, I learned the entire set. And on the 3rd day, we were playing the set.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's very cool.
So it was a high pressure cooker in my head, but to those guys, they were like, he's got it. You know, they were never worried about it. They, you know, even Chuck was like, just let the metal flow. He's just, I want you to be comfortable with. You want to improv your solos, you can improv. But they actually asked me on tour. Chuck asked me if I'd stick around and I'd be interested in writing the next record with him. And I was like, dude, I just can't. You know, I was so loyal to Forbidden.
Yeah.
And I don't think I made a mistake or anything, but it was a chance. And I am loyal. I stick with things in most cases. You know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You stick to your guns. Yeah. So how many gigs did you, just one gig, or how many gigs did you do with?
No. We did a whole tour. We did the entire European tour, the second leg of the Individual Thought Patterns tour.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It was probably about 18 shows, I think it was, spread out over about 3.5 weeks. So we had some days off to have fun too, you know. But it was great shows, man. Fucking intense, you know. There's a show floating around of us in Bradford, England, which is on YouTube, which was probably it was the very first show. It's probably the worst show, but people seem to really like it. But there's some even better ones when we played in Florence, Italy. That was my favorite one. I think there might be one when we played in Amsterdam out there. But yeah, it was pretty great.
Wow. So what an honor playing with Chuck. Is there any cool story with Chuck that you might want to share with us?
You know, all my stuff, everything about that tour was positive.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I know there are people that have had problems in the past with Chuck. There are things that, you know, like he was, if you crossed him in his mind, there's no doubt he was very resentful, and it was a long road back to get in his good graces.
Right.
And that happened a lot, and that definitely did not happen with me. And we got along so well that they all made a point of saying that's the best this band's ever gotten along. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was in and I was out. You know, it's like, okay, you know, here I am. Okay, let's go. So it didn't have a chance to get any kind of, you know, no resentment got any legs, you know.
Yeah.
But every day was so easy and fun and non-stressful on that entire tour. The guys, you know, turned out to be great friends. Eugene, like I said, turned out to be one of my best friends. He's like family. You know, to my son, he's like an uncle.
Gene Hoglan.
And Gene Hoglan.
Yeah.
So we ended up being the tightest, you know, and you know, also you got to remember, Chuck was just alive and well, and nobody thought of it like it was some, you know, like he's going to be a legend or anything like that. It was just Chuck from death.
Yeah.
He was a great musician and you know, a complex guy. But I think a lot of like looking back at it. And Gene and I had talked about this. I think a lot of the problems people had with Chuck really derived from his brain condition and that was undiagnosed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he was going through his thing, and you know, if your brain's not firing off on all cylinders, there's going to be some misfires. You know.
Uh-huh.
And I think he just had you know, some things. And I'm not a doctor, and I'm not saying that's 100% true, but I'm just saying that would be my take on why there was drama sometimes between the old members. I think there was something just off, you know.
Yeah.
But he was great, man. I mean, I can't really pick out just one story because it was always cool. You know, it was always fun.
Well, what an honor, you know. That's so cool that you got to jam with a legend, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, looking back at it, for sure, it was an honor.
Oh yeah. For all the death metal fans, I mean, you know, that's a legend to us and to everyone, you know. So that's very cool. Let's change subjects a bit. How about, I saw the video for Santa Stole My Skateboard. Yeah, is the boneless one still active?
Yeah, they are. Actually, they're more active now. That was done before I joined up.
Okay.
But I was playing with Chris Contos. He was in Spiral Arms, the band I mentioned. So we'd been doing some covers for our singer's brother had died. And he was in the band after Chris, but we did Zeppelin's In the Light, and we did Wings, Maybe I'm Amazed, and we did Rolling Stones' Moonlight Miles, super deep cuts, like the hardest stuff.
Cool.
But we'd done that, and then I knew he was getting the boneless ones off the ground, but I'd been hearing him grumbling about how the guitar players can't keep up, and I just didn't, you know, didn't think. But I saw the boneless ones back in the old days when I was a kid, and I saw them play their very last show at UC Berkeley. On the campus, and all these kids were there, and skateboarders were out. The cops showed up, and everyone blazed and ran in different directions. But I remember looking at them going, "Fuck, that guitar player is amazing." I knew Chris. They're like, "Fuck, they're killer." You know, I didn't think twice about it, but I was like, "That's fucking amazing." But then they went away. So what about maybe 2 months ago? He calls me. He's like, "Hey, man, you know, I want to talk about something. What's up? He's like, well, we need to. Boneless Ones are writing a new record, and we're just about to fire another guitar player. He's like, would you be interested in at least talking to the guys and seeing? So I did. I love the guys, and I love Chris. And then I even walked in there with a couple songs, because of what I thought they might be needing, and they loved it. And we're about 3/4 of the way writing that record now, So
Oh wow, cool.
It's killer. It's like Exodus style punk skate rock.
Yes, yeah.
It's like the sound of Slow My Skateboard is not really a good indication of what it's going to be. It's way heavier than that, and it's way riffier than that. Like, listen to their album "Skate with the Devil" on iTunes.
Okay, I'll check it out.
That'll tell you what it was all about.
Nice,
It's
nice.
fucking bass melting, just killer, man.
Awesome. I gotta check it out. So let's talk Forbidden. Back in the day, I mean, I used to have that cassette. I used to play that, Forbidden Evil cassette every day. Back in the day, for forever, So I kind of burned it out, and Chalice of Blood, Through Eyes of Glass. Can you give us an update on that, on Forbidden? What's going on there?
Well, there's really no update of any kind. We never really broke up. It just became, like I said earlier in this interview, it became kind of obvious that to get the original members, Russ and myself and Matt were the original three.
Okay.
And Matt and Russ were both kind of, I can't really do this as much. It started turning things down, and I just said, listen, man, I can't keep, pushing this thing if you guys aren't pushing it with me.
Right. Yep.
So we just decided to put it on hiatus. And in that time, Matt, built himself a great life, with a great job, and Russ ended up falling into a really bad spot with alcohol.
Oh wow.
Since then, Russ is sobered up. We a few of us pulled together and we got him into a real rehab, and he came out of it. He actually lives in a halfway house now and has a great job.
Cool.
He's like building his life up that way. So to me, anytime someone talks about just put Forbidden back together, I just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, you have no fucking idea. 'Cause
right.
you just don't throw somebody that's been through that out on the road. It's just like, here, go out on the road again.
Yeah.
There's a process. So it may or may not happen. And if it does happen, it'll probably just be a show here and there. I could go for the rest of my life and not play another Forbidden gig and not have any regrets. But that's because I'm busy and I do stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
But if it happens,
yeah,
fantastic.
Well,
but that's on Russ.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen, you guys left some good music out there for us fans to hear. So that's badass. So thank you for that.
Well, yeah. Thank you. And Omega Wave was a great comeback album. Probably one of our strongest out of all of them. To me, it was a combination of, it was really a combination of all four of those first records.
Yeah.
Put together in an even more convincing. Like, it was pretty convincing, dude. It's like, yeah, people really that got a lot of positive response that year. We put it out in 2010, at the end of 2010, and we had a really good run with it. And yeah, I'm good with that piece of music.
Yeah. So just keep going forward here. Give us your favorite gig and your worst gig.
Oh Jesus, that's such a hard question. Well, there's different, favorite gig for this band, favorite gig for that band. I think you're more interested in my favorite gig for Forbidden than my worst gig for Forbidden, right? So let's just stick with that. Favorite gig with Forbidden probably was when we played Dynamo in '89, because that was the first time we played in front of, over 20,000 people, and,
wow.
And they were definitely ready for us. They already loved the band, and then we knocked them sideways. We did our Victim of Changes cover, and Russ could just nail those parts. So
awesome.
It ended up being it was like a brain melter for them. Like, oh my God, no one's ever done that song like that. So it was kind of a thrashier version, just slightly faster.
Wow.
So that was really good. And there's so many weird bad gigs you have over time that they're not. Do you really want to talk about them? Like,
right.
One sticks in my mind though. I think it was our album release from Forbidden Evil. It wasn't the worst show, but it was my most embarrassing moment when I got pulled off into the crowd because they were going crazy. They pulled me in, and I fell over and fell into the crowd. And then water got spilled over by my amp.
Oh wow!
And I went to. I was so pissed off from getting pulled into the crowd, I would kick the wall, and then I slipped and hit my ass on the side of the stage. It was like just, like I learned how to keep my composure. I was 19 at that time, I think. So
Yeah, kids.
that was a long time ago.
Wow, what a story. Very cool. So who are your influences? Who are your heroes?
I got all kinds of heroes. I'm a very eclectic guy.
Yeah.
I have different kinds of influences and background stuff that I love. I mean, I grew up on the Beatles,
Nice.
I really loved the Beatles a lot as a kid. Sgt. Pepper's White Album,
Nice.
Abbey Road. Those were great mainstays for me. So everyone in the Beatles, George Harrison. I loved George Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But as I got older, other stuff like the first hard rock stuff I really loved was obviously like stuff like AC/DC and Rush and all that. But when I really started getting into metal, I got to mention Elliot Easton from the Cars is one of my heroes, the guitar player.
Cool.
Because that guy never plays a bad note. He always plays the right note at the right time.
Wow.
And if you know my style guitar, I'm not the guy who likes to there'll always be in Forbidden. There was always a guy who'd do the sweeps, and I would be the guy who'd write the songs.
Okay.
I'd be the guy who'd play the other solo that hopefully you'd sing it. And that's so Elliot Easton impacted me in that way. I want to write stuff you can sing.
Nice.
So and then later on, of course, guys like James Hetfield.
Oh yeah.
For his right hand. Metallica is probably not as big of an influence on me as some of these other thrash dudes, but they definitely had their impact. And Dave Mustaine for his incredible, crazy riffing. I think that might have had a bigger impact on me.
Awesome. Yep.
But James had that right hand. That just sounded fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. I'm a fan myself.
Over the years, it changed a lot.
Oh yeah. I'm a huge Hetfield fan of myself too. So yeah.
Yeah, just a vicious right hand.
Cool. So what's on your playlist? What do you listen to when you're not playing guitar?
Well, lately I've been listening to a lot of punk rock because I've been doing the Boneless Ones thing. So
yeah,
I made a massive playlist of like my old favorite punk bands. It's funny because people don't really know how much in the Bay Area the whole crossover thing happened. Like here, we had everybody played with everybody. Forbidden Evil played with Suicidal Tendencies. Forbidden Evil played with Attitude Adjustment, MDC, RKL. But I always loved stuff like the Circle Jerks, and so I've been listening to a lot of punk. And as far as newer stuff, I've been listening to the new Gojira album.
Oh yeah, awesome stuff.
Absorbing that. Yeah, it is good. It's very melodic. They've taken a step in that direction. I listen to a lot of Radiohead because I like to clear my palate. I still listen to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Cool. I like Mastodon a lot. I think they're incredible musicians.
Oh yeah.
I like stuff that pushes the limit and is mostly melodic. Unless it's punk, then it's like I don't care how the production or how melodic it is. It's just I'm just listening for the attitude.
Cool. So you mentioned that you're going to record something with the Boneless Ones. What's next for yourself? What's next for Craig? What can fans expect next?
I think really the Boneless Ones record is going to be something, but like I said, concentrating on that Dress the Dead full length.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're also going to Europe to play the Dynamo Festival, Dynamo 2021.
Nice.
In August. And Dress the Dead's first gig is going to be there. But also I'm doing something called Bay Area Enter Thrashional, where I'm actually the guy that has to put this whole show together. They approached me because I've done a lot of these shows where we pull different musicians together, like Killian on Command, and I did the Rob Flynn and Friends thing where I pretty much helped Rob coordinate everything. So they knew I did this stuff, and I'm pulling other people together where a bunch of thrash musicians from all over the world, some pretty famous cats, some respected cats, are all going to get up there and play Bay Area thrash songs from the Big Four and a couple of the others, like Violence and Forbidden. And
Cool.
But nobody could play their own song.
Oh wow.
Nobody can play their own song. So if Forbidden song is being played, we're not allowed to play it, and so on and so forth.
Oh,
but
cool.
it's mostly going to be guys from other bands, German bands, Canadian bands, other New York bands. Like, it's not going to be all Bay Area guys, but there's going to be a contingency of their last lineup of Forbidden, the four guys, minus Russ, who's probably still not ready to go to Europe. But we're going to be like the core band, and then other people I'm not ready to announce yet are going to be a part of it.
Well, very cool. Something to look forward to. That's very cool.
It'll be on the YouTube, I'm sure.
Awesome. Would you like to send a message to the fans listening to this podcast?
Yeah, man. check out Dress the Dead. Check out the Boneless Ones. But that record won't be out for a while. But I think you're going to find that we're pushing some limits in Dress the Dead. I think we're doing things a little different and not trying to reinvent the wheel. But I think we write great fucking songs. Give them a chance. Check it out. And I think you'll fall right in there. And we have probably the greatest female singer on planet Earth in Kayla Dixon.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's badass for sure. So thank you, Craig. Thank you for making time, and I hope to see you guys on the road soon with Dress the Dead, or maybe one day with Forbidden. You never know.
You never know.
And so we conclude this interview on our podcast, That Metal Interview with James. That's myself. Great conversation with Mr. Craig Locicero, legendary Bay Area guitar player, man, from Dress the Dead. You guys should stream, download Dress the Dead. They're on their 6th single, Red-Handed. You guys can stream all that stuff, real good stuff. So there you go. He told us about the reason behind the releases per month and all that, and the future of Dress the Dead, and the status of Forbidden, and of course his other projects. So support Mr. Locicero. Look him up on his socials. I will post the links to Mr. Locicero's projects and bands, including, of course, Dress the Dead. So let's keep rocking and keep it metal, guys. So don't forget to keep it metal.